Hello students, let us start our new session with the new topic, the solenoid and toroid. Basically, the solenoid and toroid are the pieces of equipments which generates a magnetic field. Television generally uses the solenoid to generate a magnetic field, and synchrotron uses a combination of both to generate a high magnetic field. Both solenoid and toroid we come across in a situation of high symmetry where Ampere's law can be directly applied. Now go through the solenoid. We are using a long portion of the solenoid. It means that solenoid's length is larger compared to its radius. We are taking a long wire wound in form of helix, where number of turns are very closely spaced. Each turn can be regarded as a circular loop. The magnetic field in the vector sum of the field due to all turns. So we can say that we are going to add up a magnetic field of individual turn, individual circle. The enameled wire are used for winding so that turns are insulated from each other. Now the figure is displayed due to the magnetic field lines for the finite solenoid. Figure A shows the enlarged manner. Figure B shows with the finite solenoid with the magnetic field. Now by focusing these diagrams we can say that circular loops that the field between the two neighboring turns vanishes. I repeat, from the circular loops that the field between the two neighboring turns, between two circular paths, between these two circular paths, field is not available as we are using enameled wires. So effect between these two turns are not present. So the magnetic field is present between these two solenoids, between two parts, and we can say that at the center point P, at the interior part, there is a strong magnetic field is present, and while this field is moving away from it, its strength is reduces, as you can observe through the diagram B. Now the field at the exterior part at the point Q is a very weak, and along the axis of the solenoid no perpendicular or no component part is available at point Q. Now solenoid is taking a longer part like a cylindrical metal sheet. So we can say that at the center point P the field is maximum, but at the outer side of that solenoid the magnetic field is not present. To understand that, we are taking one rectangular part ABCD portion. AB we are taking at the interior part, CD at the exterior part near to the point Q. By connecting portion AD and BC portion is there. Now take the magnetic field content. We can say that at the AB portion my magnetic field strength is available maximum. As a B we can define its strength as a magnetic field B, and the loop length is taken as L equals to H. Between the A and B points the length is H. So we can say that in between these 2 points, interior part, my current is existed due to the magnetic field. Number of turns are available within the unit length. So that number of turns can be defined as N into H, as this number of turns are closely spaced to each other. So enclosed total current IE equals to INH. And we know the current magnetic field due to the Ampere's law, that BL equals to mu 0 IE. So L is nothing but, right now we have taken H. So we can place BH equals to mu 0 I NH. Why? That is current due to the number of turns, that is I NH. So here at both the side H will be cancelled out. So my magnetic field effect is present like mu 0 Ni. But if we focus that magnetic field present at the CD, then field is 0. At the transverse section BC and AD, if we are saying, that field component is also 0. So we can say that magnetic field is only present at the interior part of the solenoid at the point P or at the interior part along the AB with the field strength B is equal to mu 0 Ni. And the direction of the field we can determine through the right hand rule. Solenoid is commonly used to obtain a uniform magnetic field. Now go for the toroid. Toroid is basically a hollow circular ring which is a large number of turns of the wire closely wound. So we can say that solenoid which has been in a circular shape to close to itself carrying a current I. We can say that it can viewed as a solenoid which has been bent into a circular loop. Solenoid we have taken a straight, or they are apart to each other with a portion in between the magnetic field is present. Now we are taking that solenoid portion like a circular ring in a circular shape and carrying a current I. So now the magnetic field in the open space inside of that circle at point P and outside of that circle at point Q, it is 0. Magnetic field is present inside the toroid only with the constant magnitude as closely circular wounds are available. Figure B, from which we can see it's a sectional view. The direction of the magnetic field is defined as a clockwise direction based on the right hand rule. 3 loops we have taken inside of the toroid. Loop 1, beside of the toroid, within the toroid loop 2, outside of the toroid, that is loop 3. Now here magnetic field should be tangential to each of them and constant in its magnitude for that given loop. As the constant current is flowing through it, constant magnetic field should be present over that particular circular loop. Now areas are bounded by 2 and 3 while we are going to cut, so that the constant circular line where the small blue dots are there, it defines a toroid. So while we cut that toroid from the section 2, from the loop 2 and from the loop 3, we can say that toroid will be cut down at once by loop 2 and toroid will be cut down by twice through the loop 3. So now we are going to measure the magnetic field from all these 3 loops 1, 2 and 3. Consider first a loop 1 and going to determine its magnitude of magnetic field. So based on the Ampere's law, L equals to 2 pi R1, in which that particular loop has not carrying any current. Current is only transferring through the toroid circle within which only current is flowing with constant current, constant magnetic field. Inside of that current, inside of that toroid at point P or inside of that circle, IE is 0. If IE is 0, based on that Ampere's law, B1 2 pi R1 is equal to mu 0 into 0. Current is 0, IE is 0. So magnetic field B1 is 0. So we can say that in open space inside the toroid at point P, magnetic field strength is 0. Now take the loop 3. So in that case, L equals to 2 pi R3. In that outside of the toroid also current is not flowing. So IE is 0. So B3 2 pi R3 equal to mu 0 into 0 by the same Ampere's law equation. So we can say that B3 is 0. Now take the loop 2, that is inside of the toroid. Magnetic field strength is present as a B. So that loop radius L equals to 2 pi R, current is flowing through it, that is IE. Now n number of turns are available with the toroid, so consider as IE is Ni. For the single loop, current is I. So n number of circles, n number of turns are there, so total current is Ni. So using the Ampere's law, B into 2 pi R equals to mu 0 Ni. So B equals to mu 0 Ni upon 2 pi R. So based on this result, we can say that R is the average radius of the toroid, and n, small n, for example, is the number of turns per unit length. So that is we are using for the solenoid. In toroid, we have the parts of the solenoid. We can say, while we are going to compare this toroid and solenoid, for the solenoid we can say R is its radius of toroid and N is the number of turns per unit length. So we can say capital N is nothing but 2 pi R into N. 2 pi R, that is its circumference of the radius. N is the number of turns. So that is perimeter of the toroid, 2 pi R, it's a circumference into the number of turns per unit length. So my magnetic field magnitude B equals to mu 0 small n I, right? So that mu 0 small n I, this is nothing but the solenoid magnetic field. So here we can say, we can relate toroid and solenoid. So we can say that toroid, the coils are circular. In reality, the toroidal coil form a helix, and there is always a small magnetic field exterior to the toroid in a practical situation. Now go through the example. A solenoid of length 0.5 meter having a radius 1 centimeter is made up of 500 tons. It carries out 5 ampere current. What is the magnitude of magnetic field inside the solenoid? Now number of turns per unit length is 500. So N equals to 500 divided by 1000. So 0.5 turns per meter. Here it given in the terms of centimeter. So we are going to convert into the meter. So that is a 0.5 turns per meter. Length L is given 0.5 meter. Radius is given 0.0. 1 centimeter radius means convert into meter, 0.01 meter. So L by A equals to 50. L is greater than A. So my solenoid formula we can use mu 0 N I. Mu 0 is 4 pi 10 raised to minus 7. N I is given that is a 0.5 5 ampere current, and N is a 10 raised to 3000 tons. So that my result is become 6.28 into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. Now go for the another topic, force between two parallel currents, that is the ampere, based on the ampere. So here, as we already learned the magnetic field due to a current conductor carrying a current, follow the Biot-Savart law. Further we have learned the external magnetic field will gives the force onto the current carrying conductor, which gives you the Lorentz formula for Lorentz force formula. Now we are going to expect that two current carrying conductors are placed near to each other will exert the magnetic force onto each other. So two conductors are there, both are having a current flowing through it, constant current is flowing through it, both having a magnetic field. So as both are placed in the parallel form, so magnetic field is affected on each other. For that, we are taking a simple example that current carrying conductor placed parallel to each other. So, for example, conductor A carrying a current IA and conductor B carrying the current IB. Now, using the right hand rule, the magnetic field is generated. That field is at the downward side when conductor are placed horizontally. So magnetic field is at the downward side, and its magnitude of magnetic field for the conductor A is mu 0 Ia upon 2 pi d. First we are carrying a conductor A. At that time conductor B was not there. So based on that, magnetic field is available only due to the conductor A, that is a mu 0 Ia upon 2 pi d. Now carrying a conductor B in the parallel of the conductor A, so magnetic field BA is affected over it. So field of A affecting over the conductor B consider as a FBA. So the components affecting on a segment L of B or due to A by the current is flowing from the B, that is IB, and magnetic field of A is affected over the B conductor, that is a BA. So the total force is affected onto the conductor B, that is IB due to its own current, BA, that is a magnetic force of conductor A, and the distance between two, that is L. So we can write that we can replace the value of BA, so that is a mu 0 Ia IB upon 2 pi d L. Same way, now as both conductors are present nearby, so now conductor B magnetic field is also affected over the conductor A, and that force is equal by the same value, same magnitude, but sign is opposite, direction is opposite. So we can say that FBA equals to minus FAB. So here we can say that when equal and opposite force is available, this is nothing but the third Newton's law. So here we can say that while the parallel conductors are placed which carry the steady current which follow the Biot-Savart law, while current is carrying through its own conductor, Lorentz law, when magnetic force is available due to the another parallel placed conductor, for example, force is available on A from the B, and as both force are available equal and opposite, so Newton's law is also affected. So while two conductors are placed parallel to each other, three laws can be affected: Biot-Savart's law, Lorentz law, and Newton's third law. So while current is flowing in the same direction from the both conductors, they attract to each other, but while current direction is reversed in both the conductors, then they repel to each other. So this is, we can say that parallel current attracts to each other, anti-parallel currents repel to each other. This is the reverse formula of the point charge. In charges, opposite charges are attracts, positive negatives are there, and this same sign, same charges are repelled to each other. So here we can say that magnitude of FBA force is mu 0 Ia IB upon 2 pi d, and ampere is its SI unit. The ampere is the value of the steady state current which maintain each way of two very long straight parallel conductors of negligible cross section area and placed 1 meter apart in vacuum would produce on each of these conductor, a force is equal to 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 newtons per meter of the length. Right? I repeat, while the steady current is flowing through each of the conductor, this conductor is having long, straight and parallel conductors. Its cross-section area is very negligible and distance between two conductors is 1 meter. Then force is affected is 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 newtons per meter of the length. This definition of the ampere is adopted in 1946. That is only a theoretical definition. In practice, one must eliminate the effect of earth magnetic field and substitute the very long wire by multi-ton coils of appropriate geometries. The instrument, which called the current balance, is used to measure this mechanical force. SI unit of charge is coulomb. Now we can define that when a 1 ampere current is flowing through the conductor, a constant current is flowing through the conductor, per unit cross section area, by taking its 1 second time, so the charge is carried out 1 coulomb. Focus on to the example. The horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field at a certain place is 3 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla, and the direction of the field is from the geographic south to the geographic north. A very long straight conductor is carrying a steady current of 1 ampere. What is the force per unit length on it when it is placed on a horizontal table and the direction of the current is, first case, east to west and second, south to north. The force equation we have IL cross B. Now theta is present, so we can say ILB sin theta. Magnitude of the force is F by L, so that is IB sin theta. Now in the first case, east to west, my theta is 90. So sin theta is 90 equal to 1. So F is equal to I into B. I is given 1 ampere. Magnetic field magnitude is given 3 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. So the force is 3 into 10 raised to minus 5 Newton per meter. That is very larger than the 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton per meter. So earth magnetic field can be avoided. Right? So the direction of the force is downward. The direction may be obtained by directional property of cross product vector. When the current is flowing from south to north, theta is 0. So the force is 0. So no force is available over the conductor. Right? Clear? So here, I hope you understood this whole session. Thank you.